A couple of years ago, if I posted anything on Twitter that was even vaguely critical of the leftist orthodoxies of our age, I would be inundated with left-wing loons spewing bile back at me. Today, hardly a squeak. Has someone changed social media algorithms so they no longer lean left? Or has the left left? Some on the left are clearly leaving some social media platforms. Progressive commentator Don Lemon, who only a few months ago was given the extraordinary opportunity to interview Elon Musk and managed to blow it, has announced he'll no longer be using Twitter. The Guardian newspapers said they won't be posting comments on Elon Musk's X platform either. But the idea that X is tilting right because left-wing commentators are leaving it is wrong. The left is leaving because they're intolerant. They can't cope with a platform that's no longer rigged to their advantage. The left is leaving because X no longer operates algorithms that intentionally suppress conservative viewpoints. The left is leaving because they're unable to defend their ideas on a level playing field. For many years, they've never had to. And now that they're having to compete, they instead retreat. The left wants you to believe that they're retreating righteously, withdrawing from social media platforms that treat them with contempt. Don't fall for that. They're the ones that have treated the rest of us with contempt for years. Look at how the left-wing media covered the recent US election. They wanted you to believe that one of the weakest candidates in a US presidential election since Walter Mondale was credible. Leftist pundits often can't see because they don't look. They only listen and interact with other members of their like-minded club. That's perhaps why Rory Stewart on Twitter famously informed us that Kamala Harris will win the White House comfortably. Rory knew because his friends had told him. Then there are the times when leftist pundits look, but don't see. This is because many inside the leftist commentator bubble are what I call smart stupid. That's to say they're extremely good at passing exams, getting into top colleges, sounding superficially clever. But this makes them vulnerable to fall for every intellectual fad and fashion. This can blind them to the obvious. Obvious truths like the fact that Kamala Harris speaks in cliches because she thinks in cliches. Obvious things like the fact that wind and solar energy, which are inconsistent energy sources, can't painlessly replace oil and gas. Obvious things like the fact that different cultures are not the same. But there's another reason why commentators on the left get things wrong so often. They look and they see, but what they see is distorted by the prism through which they observe the world. Those on the left are social determinists. That's to say they believe people behave as they do because of social conditioning and the social environment they live in. People, they insist, are interchangeable. Voters, they imagine, are essentially materialist. Blue-collar discontent, they suppose, must be a matter of material deprivation. Give the voters enough jobs and they'll simmer down. Identity, those on the left seem to think, only matters to those favoured by the left. Disadvantaged groups, minorities, victims of the patriarchy. The real reason the left is in retreat is because this worldview is imploding. It's easier to criticise the leftist orthodoxies of our age because the age of these leftist orthodoxies is coming to an end. It's increasingly clear that how people fare is not simply determined by their social environment. Social determinism is dying. Nor are people interchangeable. Different cultures are different, and some ways of life are better than others. Telling millions of ordinary Americans that they're part of an oppressor class because of what they happen to have been born is not only absurd, it might just provoke a reaction in every kind of American who can see it's nonsense. The left is retreating not righteously, but in defeat and disgrace. As long as there's free speech and people are able to post ideas and opinions on platforms like this without fear, the left will continue to lose. That's why in Australia and Britain, the leftist state is so determined to restrict what you and I can say online. Thank goodness for America, for the Bill of Rights, and for Elon Musk.